So here we are, Miracle Healing Open Sessions. I'm happy that you joined and that we can continue with, that you let me do this. In fact, also, it's like, thank you for letting me do this. I was like, yeah, I love to do this. I really love to do this. So I see this in the preparations too. It's great to prepare today with the idea of uncertainty. And that to me is a very lovely idea, uncertainty. So we use the quantum principle of Heisenberg uncertainty principle, but using that in an interesting way. And also it will be part of our next art assignment that we're going to do, because the Miracles Healing Open Sessions has also a part that is connected to art. It's like letting directly inspiration come to you in self-expression and allowing some of that passion to flow through you as an extension of yourself. Like, you cannot do that without inspiration. So that's why it's such a great tool to use to come to self-expression. And so, yeah, that's for later. Today we also start with a meditation, and that is the daily lesson, which is a prayer lesson. And I love to start with that because it's really beautiful, and it's great to first come to yourself. It's like, oh yeah, wait a minute. Oh yeah, enough is enough. Whoa, okay. First, seek first the kingdom. Here is where it's truly happening. It's happening in me. It's nowhere else to be found. I breathe through my nose in, relax my shoulders, and I'm very actively, like, this is the thing that we will see next week too, but it's like, it's very actively making connection with your withinness. That's not sitting still and transcend into some kind of stillness sphere. No, this is actively inviting the miracle to come in. And that's different, just like you do with the lessons. It's like, let related thoughts come up, see what happens, but continuously in a state of anticipation, like high anticipation, being completely open. Not that you know what is coming to you, but certainly am open, like to be very much alert in that sense, instead of dozing off into stillness of some kind. Like, no, this is an active prayer lesson, an active prayer meditation. It's totally different than a transcending meditation, like you would do with TM, that you just, in fact, say a mantra a couple of times and then cancel out the interference with your thoughts. Now this is different. So it's like, we're not canceling out anything. We're just not anticipating with the thoughts. That's one thing, but it doesn't stop there. You allow yourself to sink deeply into yourself, going through a couple of stages where you really are going to, say, allow yourself to be reborn, basically. But more instruction of that, like next week in the spiritual healing open sessions, because let all things be exactly as they are. Let me not be your critic, Lord, today, and judge against you. Let me not be your critic, Lord, today, and judge against you. Let me not attempt to interfere with your creation and distort it into sickly forms. Let me be willing to withdraw my wishes from its unity and thus to let it be as you created it. Let me be willing to withdraw my wishes from its unity, and thus to let it be as you created it. For thus will I be able to recognize myself as you created me. In love I was created, and in love will I remain forever. What can frighten me when I let all things be exactly as they are? Let not our sight be blasphemous today, nor let our ears attend to lying tongues. Only reality is free of pain. Only reality is free of loss. Only reality is wholly safe. And it is this we seek today. Let not our sight be blasphemous today, nor let our ears attend to lying tongues. Only reality is free of pain. Only reality is free of loss. Only reality is wholly safe. And it is only this we seek today. Thank you so much for joining in the meditation. Like, it's a beautiful lesson to use. Let all things be exactly as they are. So continuing now with the Miracles Healing open sessions. And so an important part today is the idea of uncertainty. And we do this in different ways. So there's a practical exercise that we're going to do, like the non-locatable exercise, like you can't locate yourself. So we're going to do an exercise in that. And there's something else that we do, that is the looking at the uncertainty principle, but then actually in relationship with the Course in Miracles. Like what about quantum healing like is related to A Course in Miracles? Now this comes to us because we deal here with a location. You find yourself in a location and in which you know that is a dream. So it's like where's the dream based on? On your thoughts. What are your thoughts? Your relationship with the past. You organize your thoughts. Like yesterday, I was born in that year. I lived here, lived there. You cross time and space in your life story. And so, in other words, you base your reality on past experiences, thinking that tells you something about you. While we saw yesterday too in the Miracle Mind training, like there's no link of memory to the past. So in fact, the location that you find yourself in is at least discussable. Like, it's not what it appears to be at all. It is not where you find yourself. You assume it, but it doesn't make it real. Unless you believe that is your reality, then you're caught in, say, a past experience with all the consequences that are related to it. Because if you relate to something that has no reality, what do you think about yourself? As if you are unreal too. Now this is logical. Now here we also come to the uncertainties, like, well, if you don't define yourself, that is the other possibility. If you're not defining yourself based on past experiences, what happens then? Like, that would be a very uncertain step to take. Like, you don't know what you are. Now, what happens then? You know, so this is, you can feel how closely related that is to an idea of an uncertainty principle. But you say, like, well, I don't know what an uncertainty principle is. Well, let's take a look at that first then. It is basic. Like, the first two Miracle Healing Open sessions are still with the basics of quantum healing, of quantum physics, quantum healing, because it's so very useful. You will see why. So here's the non-locality exercise. We're going to do that later. And you don't know what this thing is, right? You don't know what this is. Last week we saw, like, you don't have to define this, whatever that is. It is not based on your associations. No, this thing is brand new. And so now we're going to do later a non-locality exercise. Okay, so first some basics then with the uncertainty principle. And here is Mr. Heisenberg. So Werner Heisenberg. In quantum mechanics, the uncertainty principle formulated by physicist Werner Heisenberg is a core tenet of quantum mechanics. It states that it's impossible to simultaneously know with perfect accuracy two complementary properties of a particle, such as position and momentum, like the speed where the particle is moving, with which the particle is moving. You don't know both at the same time. You either know how fast it goes, or you know exactly where it is, but you cannot do the two things at the same time. Now I have some other illustrations that hopefully make it clear too. Here we see a train. Like, the momentum of this train, it looks like it stands still, right? You don't know exactly where it stands, but I can see the train exactly where it is. Now I don't know how fast it moves. It seems to move fast, but I just caught him like right here in this position. Now I don't know how fast it goes. And so the next picture is a bit of the same idea. I know exactly where it is, like at the station here. I took the picture at the station. Now I see the train moving, but I don't know how fast it moves. So in order to be able to get the speed, the momentum, like the speed at which it moves, I have to have 2 points. I cannot literally measure it in 1 point. I have to use 2 points in order to determine how fast it goes. This makes sense, right? So this is called, the fact that you cannot do both at the same time is the uncertainty principle. Now you know the basics. So this is how simple quantum physics is. So it has consequences. So you say, like, well, I'm not moving anywhere. Well, you have located yourself, right? You think you're sitting on a chair. Am I right? Are you sitting on a chair? Are you sitting in your room? Okay, now it's time for the non-locality exercise. So hold on. What I'm asking you to do is to sit in your chair and to relax and to close your eyes and just become very conscious of where you think you are at this point. Like, okay, here I am sitting in my chair. I sit in my town, in my house, in my town, and the town is named blah blah, or whatever the name is. And it's like that's where my chair is seated, that's where my house is, where my location seems to be. Now we go takes one more step, and that is this. So this town is in a country, right? You're in a country, in country so and so. So here you are. It's a bit bigger, like you're still sitting on the chair, but a chair is in a country. It's on a continent even. So it's on a continent. Your chair is standing on a continent. You seem to find yourself on a continent. And now we take one more step, and it's like, okay, here I'm actually on a planet called Earth or Urantia, whatever you call it. It's like, okay, here I am, sitting on my chair on a planet. So we're going to scale it up a little bit, and this planet is actually in the Milky Way. Now that's a star formation, like huge, very big, with many planets, moons, planets, enormous. And we're on the very outer edge of one of the arms of a galaxy. This galaxy, the Milky Way, is also huge, like we're on one of the arms, somewhere on the outer edge of it. And now this galaxy is just about at least like 20,000 light years from galactic central point, and which is assumed to be a central point in space. And we're only in quadrant 447-224-25778-33-25. And we're actually on the south side of that. So the next star cluster, star formation, the next galaxy that we are closely related to is at least 20 million light years from this place. And one other point then is there are probably billions of galaxies in this universe. And so the question is, like, where were you sitting on? Where exactly are you? You might not be able to tell right now. So this is wonderful. So just enjoy the spaciousness of where you find yourself for a moment. So, okay, so now we're pretending we're back. I'm pretending we sit in our chairs. So are you locatable? No, you're not really locatable at all. If you look at it in a bigger picture, this can be very helpful to connect with your, say, non-locality. You don't have a location. You don't really know where you are. For the practicality of things, we say, like, we live on planet Earth, but then we actually don't know anything either. It's like you still don't know where you are at all. But anyway, so that was just an exercise to get yourself a little bit involved here in what we're trying to display, or what we're trying to get in touch with. Because this uncertainty that we're talking about has everything to do with the fact that you're not locatable. What if you're everywhere? Huh? Like, you're not locatable. You're everywhere. You're everything. Now, I don't want to force this upon you as an idea about yourself, because then you would build another idea. That's not necessary either. It's just getting in touch with it. So this is the And this is then the first step with the uncertainty principle. Now I have some expressions that I like to include into this too. Okay, so the observer's role. The observer's role. In quantum mechanics, the act of observation fundamentally changes the system being observed. Similarly, A Course in Miracles teaches that our perception, specifically the choice between love and fear, determines the reality we experience. The world isn't an objective reality, but a projection of our mind. Now, this is essential. That's the same in quantum mechanics, like the observer determines the wave or particle that it's going to see. And here in the Course in Miracles, we teach that, the Course in Miracles teaches that our perception is determined by our choice between, are you looking through the lens, you could say, of love, or are you afraid and contract in what you see? It's like both choices, in fact, make it that you see a totally different world. Now this goes, of course, much further than just this expression. So that's why I try to get into that with you at this point. It's like it's hard for me. I don't know why, but this is like, it is not just determining the world that you're living in. It determines really if you get in touch with the truth of you instead of a so-called world, objective world outside of you, determined by fear, defined by fear, by past ideas. Like this has an impact on how you see yourself. So looking through the eyes of love, which is your natural inheritance, is a different activity, because it literally comes from within you. You're not defining it. You let all things be exactly as they are, as we meditate. It's like, let all things be exactly as they are. What is everything? Is everything like you believe it is? No. As you have defined it? No. As you know from the past? Yeah, that is totally unuseful in order to come to see the truth of who you are. Now all of this is in fact in our miracles healing changing. The perspective changes, like from horizontal, from outside, looking outside for something, to seeing that everything starts within you. And by you not determining the outcome of what you're going to see, stepping into this deep uncertainty of not knowing anything, like I don't know what anything is for, by that you open the door to like letting everything be exactly as it is, and let what it is tell you about yourself. Now that's where the uncertainty principle is like completely integrated, you could say. So in that sense, and we saw this before, but it's like with science, it is always an observation of something outside yourself, and making equations and repeating that and seeing, yes, it works, yes, it's now proven that it's so, that this theory that we first had is basically a reality, has become a fact by our proving it. But then it is still something outside oneself. Now here with the integral miracles healing that is taking place, like it is integral in the sense it includes you in the equation. It includes you into the experience. And that makes all the difference, because otherwise it would still be something outside yourself that you're observing, and what good is that going to do you knowing that? Like, no, you can't locate yourself. No, the uncertainty that you choose to step into by not knowing what anything is for opens the door to your inner kingdom. That was the way to do it. That is the way to do it. And this is what we practice. This is where miracles are possible. So it's like, this is the shift from horizontal to vertical thinking. So this great insight, great helpful tool to come to a new perspective of everything. So that's why I love to mention it this way, and basically take some time to take a look at it. So getting familiar with all the uncertainties is in fact what your spiritual path is. Like nothing is determined yet. Well, at least where you put your certainty in, like in the past, is gone, is over. You don't have to bring that back in order to tell yourself anything about yourself. So if you stop engaging with that, your mind already opens up. You become less locatable. You don't really know where you are because you have based your reality and your location on past experiences. And now that opens up. Here's your spacious self. Here's a whole new experience of you. There's a universe out there, and that's within you. It has nothing to do with rockets. It has nothing to do with satellites or who knows what. No, this has to do with love, with the reality of who you are. That's what this has to do with. Like, this is what you are. That comes to expression by you forgetting about the old definitions about yourself and allowing yourself to have a new experience, and new ideas come to you. Uncertainty and the illusion. The uncertainty principle highlights that at the subatomic level, reality isn't fixed or certain. It exists as a range of possibilities until it is observed. This can be metaphorically compared to A Course in Miracles' ideas that the world of time and matter is not a solid, independent reality, but an uncertain, dreamlike illusion that dissolves when we observe it from a perspective of totality. That is through the vision of the Holy Spirit. Like then it dissolves. Then all the perception that we had dissolves. In like from a perspective of totality, it dissolves. See, and we don't really observe it from a perspective of totality. No, you come into an experience of totality. And that means, like, if you would observe it, then you would still have the problem of something else that you're looking at. Now, the idea of totality is like you are the love of God. You are what peace is. You are the universe. Like this, it's a complete inclusion of you into that. Not about it, not thinking about it, not defining it as something outside of you. No, allowing yourself to be completely part of it. So that it cannot observe anything anymore, but it is a matter of being then. It has become a beingness. See how fundamental this is, but also how helpful. Now, if you go back to your old observations, for instance, of the body identity or the body idea, and thinking that there could be something wrong with this body identity idea, it's like, look at what you have tried to do. Bring it back to this, say, small definition of this locality called a human body. And you think that it can do things and that it can disturb your experience. It's like, this is the power that you have given this thing while it cannot do anything by itself. But see how much contraction there was necessary in order to compress it to this little, to compress your consciousness to this little thing called a body. That's unbelievable. And now there has to be something wrong with that body too? Like, that does not make sense in the broader scheme of things. Like, you really have to want that. To make that manifest, you really have to want it. Otherwise it would never happen. In your dream, you can make that manifest. But in reality, seeing that you cannot even locate yourself and that you're everything, that you literally cannot separate yourself off from totality, but you are a whole inclusive part of it. makes it like dissolves the whole thing, like dissolves any kind of contraction. Now you can say that's an essential part of the transformational path. In fact, not to contract, to focus and to say make it small to your own limited definitions of yourself, thinking that it has to happen in that, but in fact invite yourself to open it up to a broader scale and broader scale and broader scale, like literally allowing yourself to disappear into the universe. We say this, you dissolve in light. Well, that is exactly what is occurring then if you open the door to that. Like you disappear into light. So where are you then? Like that's not any different than it is now. But you in your self-definition have confined yourself to this incredible dense thing called a body. So that is the amazing thing. It's like you've literally collapsed the waves into particles and identified with it as if you are that, while it was just a matter of observation. It was just a matter of thinking that there could be something that you can look at, that you can define, and yeah, like a little puppet, you could make of it whatever you want it to be. But in your awakening, in fact, you explode into spaciousness. Your self is a spacious self. Literally, it is in communication with every aspect of creation. It's huge, like it's undefinably extending forever. There's literally no limit to it. See what I mean when I say like you have to really want to make it small into this little puppet, so to speak, this little puppet with all kinds of things. And yeah, you can do that, and you can believe that that's your reality. Like you can believe anything, but it has nothing to do with the truth of you, since you are everything, since you find yourself everywhere. It is where you find yourself. Like close your eyes, do a little non-locality exercise, and you find yourself deeply into squadron 2556-25- and even only on the south side of that, which is huge, a huge area. You know, so it sounds very spacey when I talk like this, and this has everything to do with you. So that's the relief that I feel when I hear this and say like, oh my God, however small do we have tried to make ourselves? So small. It's unbelievable. Thinking that everything needs to happen with this little thing called a body, and meeting other bodies and doing things with them in order to make something work, and it doesn't work, and still trying and it doesn't work, and well, etc., etc. So this is amazing. So miracles healing then is taking place, coming from a contracted form called a human being, like a human being, a human being, into an openness, a beingness that is not locatable at all. And it's completely uncertain in the sense of it doesn't define anything. It doesn't need to define anything to be everything. Beyond time and space. Both concepts challenge our everyday classical understanding of reality, like it challenges our everyday classical understanding of reality. Quantum mechanics reveals a universe that operates in paradoxical ways, beyond our intuitive grasp, including concepts like entanglement and non-locality, like we just practiced. A Course in Miracles posits a reality, eternity, that exists entirely outside the constraints of space and time. Yeah, that was in fact what I already shared with you just a moment ago. It's like there's no link of memory to the past. The past is gone, it's over. In fact, A Course in Miracles, of where it will bring you, in the recognition that it will bring you, has nothing to do with time. which is amazing. Like the miracle principles are literally adjustments in time and space. You are being lifted out of time, where the regular laws of time that you have made up are not working, because that's not so difficult, because this miracle has to do with the remembrance of reality, with recognizing your brother as your savior, you could say, or as one with you, and one with God, remembering that there is no such thing as separation. So there's also not such thing as time and space. And here you go with your definitions of yourself that are all rooted into time and have a location tag on it. Like it happened here, it happens there. I'm going to do this over there. And I'm, like this. It's pretty amazing. So this is a fundamental shake of all of that you use to locate yourself, to put yourself in time, to hold on to that, to define yourself, to make a web, literally a time and space web, an event horizon, you could say, where of time and space, yesterday, tomorrow, and all of this. It is like a very peculiar thing to do, because if you look at what you do in your mind, it is like, oh, here's a thought. Oh, I thought of that yesterday. This came back to me from 10 years ago. Like you literally organize your mind in the thoughts that you are having while they're all over. You make a whole organization of yourself in time related ideas. Well, you need that in a sense. You need that in order to define yourself. Now, when these definitions go, you allow yourself to come into your spaciousness. Why do you think I have a background like this? Like that's always an invitation to literally open it up and make space in your mind for new experiences. Seeing the past for what it is, like seeing the past that it's over, and all of this. Okay, so I've said it. Now, we come in 5 minutes or so, we start with some sharing in the art project that we did. Before that, I want to dive into the study guide, and you can directly go into the document with the link that I have available. But this works too. So it's okay. So where are we? We had superposition last week. Now we do the uncertainty principle. So here's one review of lesson 3. I do not understand anything I see. How could I understand what I see when I've judged it amiss? What I see is the projection of my own errors of thought. I do not understand what I see because it is not understandable. There's no sense in trying to understand it, but there's every reason to let it go. I make room, literally, space, for what can be seen, understood, and loved. I can exchange what I see now for this merely by being willing to do so. Is not this a better choice than the one I made before? Yeah, so this picture didn't work out that well. I have to find another place for it, I guess. So here, there's uncertainty in quantum mechanics. It's a great video. You can watch it. You click on the link and you can directly go to it. So it just gives you information, like it helps you to shake yourself loose from your, say, tendency to locate yourself. While this is being shared by somebody who believes it is about science, and not including herself in totally, but that's up to you. You can include yourself totally. Well, here's our non-locality exercise. You can do it again if you want. Self-expression in art. So we saw last week, we saw this Anthony Gormley with the quantum body. Now here's uncertainty in art. was one interesting expression. So I read it to you. The elusive dance. Imagine trying to measure the exact position of a fleeting particle, a tiny invisible dancer. To see it, you must shine a light or energy on it. But in doing so, the very act of illumination, the interaction, gives the dancer a little nudge. The nudge changes its momentum, its speed and direction. If you try to pinpoint the position with high accuracy, a bright, precise light, the particle gets a massive disruptive kick and its momentum becomes incredibly blurry and unknown. Now, if you try to measure the speed with great precision, a gentle fuse light, the particle is barely affected, but now its precise position becomes spread out and indefinite. Now there's some artist, Julian Voss, he made the Quantum Man, and you see, if you look at it from the front, you see like a real sculpture, and the more you, if you watch this video, you see more of it, but if you look at it from the side, you look right through it, because basically they're all layers, steel slabs arranged in a certain way. It's really beautiful to watch this. He has figures going into one another too, like occupying the same space and all this. Very interesting. So Julian Voss, André, really beautiful. Okay, so you can read more about that. Now here's the miracle of today. That is the assignment that we're going to take a look at. That was quite the work, so to speak. It was an invitation to look daily at the miracles that are happening. And you make a little doodle or a little photo, and in the end you're going to put it together as a final piece. Okay, so that is for now. We're going to take a look at what happened with you in that process. So then the next assignment too, and that's for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks we will take a look at that, because next week we will not have a miracles healing moment, at least not online. Miracles rest on the law and order of eternity, not of time. That's the expression that came to me to share. Now here it is. It's like we're going to develop an uncertain grid, and you have 4 layers on it. An unobserved state, like where you have a free flow of quick movements, but like not very specific. And you come more and more, in fact, into the certainty of the objective, by making certain particles, giving them a certain form. Now here's an example of that. It can, for instance, look like this. So it's like a grid. You see that's in the background. It's a grid. There are certain figures. There's a flow. There's a background. And there are things on top of it. It's a great way to paint anyway. It's like 4-layer painting, or 3 layers, sorry. So that's great to practice with. So you read it and you can practice it. It's now that we enter into the non-public part. So thank you so much for your presence in this part. And if you want to take a look at the non-public part, we invite you to join in the meetings. It's really great because we're actually preparing art to share with one another. And that's a lovely thing to do.